Today's question is, can we destroy higher or lower using the power of programming? Now, I know what you're all thinking, higher or lower, that game was viral years ago, pretty irrelevant now, so why am I doing it? I don't really know. For those of you who've been living under a rock, I'll give you a little overview. Essentially, the game gives you two words or phrases, and you have to decide whether the one on the right has a higher or lower number of searches per month. Pretty simple, right? So it must be pretty easy to automate this, right? First things first, I'm lazy, so I don't really want to do any clicking here. I want the computer to do everything, and I mean everything. That's where a little something called selenium comes in. Basically, in combination with a WebDriver, I can use selenium to see what elements are being displayed on the current web page and extract certain bits of information like the words or those higher and lower buttons that I need to click. Let's start by opening up the website and clicking the play button.
I can lift you up, I can show you what you want to see and take you where you want to be. You could be my luck, even if the sky is falling down, I know that we'll be safe and sound. We're safe and sound. We're safe and sound. We're safe and sound.
Nothing's happening. So, with a bit of debugging, I realised you actually have to download a WebDriver and add it to something called the system variables, whatever that is. Let's try this again. And perfect. The page loads up and we can start the game. Now we want to click either the higher or lower button. We can find the buttons to click by just looking for a HTML button element which contains either the text higher or the text lower. For now, let's just have it click the higher button whenever it appears on the page. Let's see how far we can get by just clicking higher. I calculate a 0.000000095 chance of getting past 20. I'm feeling pretty lucky today, so I kinda like those odds.
What the fuck?
Looks like I'm actually going to have to do some work here. So I got to thinking, and then jumped on the first thing that came to mind. They must have got the original data from Google, so let's just use the Google Trends API to tell us which word is more popular. For this, let's use pytrends. It's a library literally built for using the Trends API. So now, let's extract our two keywords, put them into a payload, and compare their interest over time. And that's a lot of zeros. Okay, took me a couple hours to figure this one out, but the words are actually encompassed by two quotation marks, which I was trying to strip away. But it actually wasn't stripping them away, because these are special U+201C quotes, as opposed to the normal U+0022 quotes. Okay, now that's fixed, this should all work. Wrong again. Turns out the game's data isn't actually current, but actually from back in 2017. So let's just adjust our request. Then, let's add a couple lines which compare the values returned by Google and clicks either the higher or the lower button. Well, that works pretty well, but not good enough. I'm not going to settle here for 19, we want to tear this game a new one. The problem is, even though Trends reports one word was more popular than another, the game thought otherwise, and there isn't really a way to detect this. So I had a thought, what if we just store the value the game gives us in a little database and read that to determine which is higher? Perfect. Okay, so we check if the right word is in the database and compare to the value on the left. If not, we hit the Trends API. Only issue is, basically we need to collect all possible words and their values. That may take a while.
2 days later.
Okay, so now we have roughly 1400 words locked away, which surely must be enough. Let's do a big boy run. Right, so at a score of 1556, or when Jimmy Carter appeared, whichever way you look at it, the higher and lower buttons disappeared, so I'm going to consider this a win. Clearly the game broke and we achieved the highest possible score, so the answer to my original question is yes, we can absolutely destroy higher or lower.